Computer, yes. Okay, so hopefully everybody can hear me. Thank you for being on tonight. Taxes and taking advantage of your home-based business for tax purposes is, oh, it's very close to my heart because you guys know, like, I've earned a lot of money because of all the great benefits. Please mute yourself out if you haven't. All the great benefits of the write-offs, you know, is just an added bonus to to having a business like this. So one thing I want you to know is I'm not an accountant. I'm going to direct you to an accountant, or any accountant. Let me, hold on, let's mute everybody out. Y'all, stop. I got to stop and do all this unless you can do it yourself. Thank you, because the background noise, we'll be able to hear it in the recording. All right, first of all, I am not an accountant, but having 17 years in the business and having an accountant from day one, our accountant kind of led us in the right direction. So tonight I'm going to give you a lot of the tips that my accountant gave me, and then, you know, we'll go from there. First of all, please, please, please do not use H&R Block or TurboTax. Just go and spend the money and get a CPA, someone who is very familiar with direct sales and home-based business, okay? Because you're going to be filing a Schedule C. You're going to probably pay anywhere from $200 to $350 to get your taxes done, but I promise you, you will get that back tenfold, all right? I'll tell you a quick funny story. I know many of you have heard this before, but about 4 years ago, you know, we've been in Mary Kay, you know, 13, 14 years, and my husband said, hey, why don't we just try to do TurboTax this year? We already know kind of what to do, and, you know, we know what our numbers are, and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, okay, let's try it. So he puts in our home stuff, I put in our business stuff, and boom, it said, oh, and we've never owed. And I was like, oh my gosh. He's like, shut it down. And he's like, take it to the accountant. And I took it to the accountant, and we got like $5,000 back, okay? So that's my story. I'm not telling you you're going to get $5,000 back, $10,000 back, but what I'm telling you is your accountant knows all the great deductions. They're legal, okay? You have a home-based business, and kind of what it is you, the business owner, need a place to run your business, your retail business, all right? You don't have to go out and find a retail space. You're going to rent back from you, the homeowner, and that's where all your deductions start coming from. And so get a CPA, okay? Also, you are allowed, I think it's 2 to 3 years. Now, don't hold me to any of these numbers because, like I said, I'm not an accountant. I just give all my stuff to my accountant. But you are allowed like 2 to 3 years to have what they call a paper loss, okay? Now, a paper loss doesn't mean that you didn't make any money. It just means that, okay, you made X amount of dollars, and now you can write off a portion of your home, a portion of your square footage, a portion of this, a portion of that, your, utilities, home phone, cell phone, pest control, lawn care, all that stuff is coming off that money because you were, you, the business owner, were spending all that money to have a space, and it kind of takes away from the profit. And that's what's called like a paper loss. Didn't mean you didn't make any money. You made the money, but you don't now have to pay taxes on that money that you made because of all your great home-based business deductions. It's kind of like if your husband, who works for, someone else, and he brings home a paycheck every Friday, it's kind of like saying, okay, we got to take the car payment out of there. We've got to take the house payment out of there. We got to take the insurance. Okay, oh no, now we're only down to $50 to last us till next Friday. Well, that's what if he said, well, I don't make any money? And that's where people get the paper loss are like, oh, I didn't make any money. Yes, you did. You got to write off all these great things. And now, you know, it's kind of like if your husband, he paid bills. So he made money. He just paid the bills. Does that make sense? I hope that that kind of gives you an analogy that is really easy to understand what a paper loss is, of you having this money that you earned, and now you get to write all this stuff off. And then, you know, you don't have to pay the taxes on it because it was, you used it for these expenses, if that makes sense. But you still earn the money. All right, so now let's move on. So that's what a paper loss is. Let's talk about end of the year inventory, okay? And if you have not calculated how much product you had at the end of December 31st, I'm going to tell you how to go back and make it right, because you have to know what you ended with, and you have to know what you begin the year with, okay? And so you put year end, X amount, begin, X amount. It's going to be the same number. You ended what you began with. So if you have placed an order since December 31st and you put it on your shelf, that's okay. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take this order form, which you guys know if you've ever watched any of my boot camp, you know this is like the Bible. It changes 4 times a year. It's got all your section 2, section 1, all your stuff in it. And at the bottom of every order, it says, do you want a complimentary order form? Absolutely. Check, check, check. It's free. I get as many as I can because they, you know, I use them for different things. But in this case, you're going to go through your inventory and you're going to say, you're going to count how many cleansers you have. Listen, please remember this. Write this in big letters. It doesn't matter if your cleanser is normal to dry or combination to oily. The IRS doesn't care, all right? When it says, you know, your eyeshadows, when you go to count your eyeshadows, you just count how many eyeshadows you have. If it's 30 eyeshadows, just write on here 30, okay? It doesn't matter if it's crystalline, driftwood, sweet cream. It doesn't matter. And I'll show you what to do with this in just a second. So you use this and you go through your inventory log. Now, what I want you to do to get an accurate inventory count is I want you to go into online ordering as if you're going to place an order. And this is going to be an easy way to get a print-outed calculated amount of what your end of the year inventory is. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to put 15 cleansers, 30 crystallines, 30 oily cleansers. I got to put in something. You get it. 30 crystallines, 30 cherry blossom cheek colors, okay? What it's doing is, and I'm hitting add to order, is calculating my inventory for me. Once I get all my inventory in, 30 of this, 20 of that, 15 mascaras, doesn't matter which mascaras, I'm going to print the order. Don't send it through, okay? I'm going to print the order, and I'm going to take that printed sheet, and I'm going to circle, I'm going to write end of the year inventory. It's now on a piece of paper that I can't lose, okay? And I knew I had 30 eyeshadows of whatever color. You get that. So here's how to make it right. If you've ordered and you ordered January 1 and you poured your inventory back on your shelf, so it's all intermingled. So what you do is, hang on, I got to get my shipping logs. So you take your January 1 shipping log, whatever that wholesale and retail amount was, okay, because that was ever how many orders you've placed between January 1 and now, and you deduct it off of your bottom line wholesale and retail, okay? That is now going to give you your accurate end of the year inventory and your accurate start of the new year inventory, okay? Even though you got it intermingled, it's just simple math. So if you get confused and you need me to explain that again, you can ask me on Voxer in the morning. All right, so that's how you have your inventory. So you always need to know what you ended with. So here's the thing before I move on. If you're brand new, okay, and you didn't have inventory last year. I mean, you didn't start with inventory, and you've been building and building and building. When you go to add up what you sold, okay, and then you look at what you've ordered, and then you say, well, I didn't make any money. Well, here's the deal. Look at what's on your shelf, because that's where the majority of your profit went. Because remember, you've been doing an 80-20 split and just paying yourself 20% and building up your store. So unless you did, you just jumped in and did inventory, you've taken a lot of your paycheck and rolled it into your business this year. And it could take anybody, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. Sometimes it takes people a year to build up the inventory because they're just not working at a fast pace. And so, for example, if you add up all your sales and you sold 10,000 retail, the cost of those products would have been 5,000, okay? Your normal paycheck would have been 5,000 if you had inventory, all right? Because you would have been just using that 5,000 to restock and replenish your shelves, and you would have been on that 50-50. But if you are doing the 80-20, you took 80% of that 10,000 and you ordered product to fill those orders, and then the other 3,000 went on your shelf, and that's what's on your shelf, and then you paid yourself 2,000. You were living off that 20%. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about now is the time to get yourself over that hump so that you can make a bigger paycheck, okay, and run your money right. Because if you're not real good at math, until you get your head around it, you could get confused and not think that you're making any money when you really are. You're just spending all your time trying to build your store, but you're not working fast and, big enough, doing the big parties to build it fast enough. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So that is how you calculate your inventory. And then organizing your receipts. All right. So you guys know I teach the envelope system, where I teach you to put all your envelopes every month from your receipts in an envelope, and then at the end of the year, I shake them all out and I separate them. And here's what I do, okay? Because you do not ever want to give your accountant a box of receipts. They charge you by the hour. Don't ever do that. So I literally clear my desk whenever I'm getting ready to do my taxes, and I organize. Like right now, I'm just going to show you. Here are my box of receipts ready to go that I've dumped them all out in here. This is my box of receipts. I know many of you that are organized are just cringing, okay? But this system works for me. It may not work for you. Richard, I see you laughing. But this is what I do. And so I come in here, and on the day, it's a whole day, I promise you. It's one day, and I start separating postage, dry cleaning, meals, office equipment, office supplies, everything I separate, and then I total them up. And so I would say postage 2017, and I would shove all my postage in here, and I would put the total right here, okay? And then I seal it up, and then I put it in a stack. And I do all my categories just like that. And then my accountant gives me a data entry, okay? See, you just really want them to be a data entry person at this point. They know, their systems know all the tax laws. You just want to give them all your numbers. And then I fill it all in. What I've learned over the years is that they never open my envelopes, ever. So then I just started keeping them for myself and just sending in my little sheets of my data entry, and then all my other sheets that Mary Kay sends me. And so I'm going to tell you more about that. And so I do it all, and then I bind them up. It's all in my data entry. I give it to them, and literally they can get it done in an hour, 2 hours, okay? Depending on how busy your accountant is. So that is how I keep up with my receipts. Now, Andy keeps up with all of our household. He does our home bills. And what he has done over the years is he has created a spreadsheet. And every month when he pays bills, he prints it out and he writes out insurance, utilities, phone, mortgage. You know, he writes it all out and then he files it. So when he gets ready to do the home part of our taxes, then he pulls those 12 sheets, adds them all up, and boom, our house stuff is done. And then our accountant already knows the square footage. You got to know your square footage of the office that you're working out of. If you've done parties in your dining room, your kitchen, your living room, go ahead and get that square footage. These are the numbers that your accountant will need during your first year. Over the years, you guys know my office has moved around in our house. And so over the years, I've had to say, okay, hey, my office moved. Here's the new square footage of my office. And so that's how you keep up with your home stuff for your home-based business. And once again, it's all coming off. Okay, it's all deductions. You don't want to run from this. I promise you this. If you do everything that I say to do, your accountant will say, who taught you this? Seriously, I can't tell you how many consultants have come back to me over the years and like, my accountant loves you. Because I know how to make your life easy and I know how to make their job easy. And it's less money that you're going to pay to get your taxes done. All right, so we've talked about organizing your receipts, separating them, totaling them. We're going to send you an itemized expense deduction sheet that you can use. Trinity uses this. I just use one my accountant sends me now. But what I do is I go, because a lot of the ones that they have do not, and here, just please hear me. A lot of the deduction sheets that your accountant will give you will not have some of the deductions that we have on there, okay? Director suits, red jackets, your booth rentals, okay, if you do vendor booths, your, stuff like that. And so stuff that we're sending you specifically for our business, what I do is I end up writing it in so my accountant knows, oh yeah, she needs these things. And so I just always, I backtrack to make sure that they remember I have these deductions because it's a very unique business. All right, so we talked about when you do total up what you ordered, okay, what you ordered, what you sold, okay, what you paid yourself, what's on your shelf, and your giveaways, they should all kind of come together. And don't be afraid, because I know a lot of women like to say, I'm not good at math. This is third grade math. It's adding, it's subtracting, and it's pulling it together. It's super, super easy, and it's kind of fun to see how close you got and how good you kept your records. I actually love doing it, believe it or not. All right, so now let's talk about, so we've talked about the end of the year inventory. Let's talk about what Mary Kay is actually keeping up with for you. All right, so your section 2, that's your samples and supplies, you are going to get on February 1st. You should be able to log in to InTouch, okay, go to business tools, scroll down and go to my business, okay, and then go to my reports, and on the left hand side on the bottom corner, okay, because there's 4 boxes on that report page, it says Income Advisory Statement. All right, you click on there, and you will be able to print off all your Section 2, the cost of your website. If you did Preferred Customer Program, that's a tax deduction. That's all there. What you ordered, total retail is on there. All those things are kept up with by Mary Kay. So the only thing that you're having to really keep up with is your sales, what you gave away, your personal use and demos, what you used. We'll talk about how to keep up with that in a second. And you have to keep up with your own shipping logs. I do that by putting it on a clipboard in my office near my inventory racks, my inventory shelves, and then I just go through and add up the 935s. Okay, 935s, 935s, 935s. And then I write that in under all my deductions. Remember all my deductions that I'm giving to my accountant. You will also get a hard copy in the mail that should arrive around February the 2nd. Okay? Now, if you did not order over, let's see, 5,000, it's either 500 or 5,000, you will not get a, you're not going to get a 1099. If your commission check was not over $500, you will not get a 1099 for your commission check. So your 1099 and your income advisory statement is going to come in the mail around February 2nd through the 4th, and that's your hard copy. And so if you haven't built a team, don't worry about your commissions yet. You're really worried more about your sales and your giveaways and your deductions, okay? So now, so that's what Mary Kay has been keeping up with for you. Your samples and supplies, which is your section 2, your preferred customer program expenses, it's a write-off, your website, okay, and then they've been keeping up with what you've ordered in retail. So that's your retail order. Now you know what your end of the year inventory order is. You're going to add up your sales tickets. So I just want to stop right here so I don't forget. So let me tell you guys a little secret. There is a really easy way to keep up with what you sell weekly and what you should pay yourself weekly if people would just do it. Back in the day, I literally had everybody doing this, but nobody does it anymore. I don't know why, but y'all, it actually does the work for you. And if you had done it all year, all you would have to do is print out your end of the year weekly accomplishment sheet. And I see Angeline smiling. Angeline, you probably do it, but I don't see y'all's report. But I only have 2 people, actually 3 people in my whole area that does this. And I'm gonna say kudos to Natalie Johnson because she's such a great student. She's a new consultant and she does it every week. Now, so it's your weekly accomplishment sheets. So if you actually went in there every Sunday night before our call and just put in your sales, and then you put in your giveaways, and then you put in whatever, y'all, at the end of the year it says, and then it tells you your 40% paycheck for that week. Write that check into your account. It tells you at the end of the year how much you sold, how much you earned. Imagine that. Your giveaways, you don't have to go through all your sales tickets and add up all your giveaways because it would have been in there. All your giveaways, it's right there. The Mary Kay truly makes our business so easy if we will just use the tools. And I could actually do a real newsletter if people did this. Okay, so I hope I was on my soapbox in a nice way. But y'all, this would help you so much. Weekly accomplishment sheets. Now, here's the thing. When you actually start doing them, actually, let me just tell you, I know I said actually a lot. Okay, sorry. I've been watching Disney too much with my kids since we've been sick. If you want to go ahead and do things right this year, here's what you can do, okay? Take all your sales tickets, separate them by, you can do quarters, 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time, or even a year. I don't care. Go into December and put December, and put all your sales in. Add them all up, put your sales in. Add up all your deductions, put your deductions in, okay? And your giveaways, put that in. Not your deductions, I'm saying your giveaways, your hostess gifts, your discounts. Go ahead and put that in, okay? And then print it. It's going to give you your total, okay? Now, if you have not been on full inventory, okay, you've got to watch it because that is going to show you your 40% paycheck. And so you want to make your corrections with a big red marker and put 20%, if you've been paying yourself 20%, write that on there. If you haven't been paying yourself and you've just been rolling it in, you want to put 0 income because you've been investing. Here's the deal. When people start a business, guys, most franchises, they don't take a paycheck for 2 to 5 years. All right. So don't feel bad if you've been in Mary Kay for a few months or 6 months and you've been just trying to build your inventory because you didn't need your Mary Kay income. That's okay. So that's your choice. That's why I give everybody a choice, 80-20 or roll it all in or whatever you need. But at some point, you're going to have a supply and demand problem. And we're going to talk about that in a second. Please don't anybody hang up because we're getting to the really good stuff about what to do now with your tax refund. Okay. So now we've got what's going to come in the mail, your hard copies, what you're going to be able to pull. Now you're going to pull from that income advisory statement and you're going to slap it smack dab on top of your deductions. Or actually, I put it underneath my deductions so that my accountant sees it, okay? I'm such a micromanager. This is what I do for my accountant. Y'all are going to think I'm crazy. I literally go back through and I tell them how I was paid, okay? Because I'm like a nervous Nelly about stuff like that. And I know to the penny where all my money went. Does that surprise y'all? Yes. And so I literally have everything stacked up and written out, deducted, everything. So I can help you with that if you need more assistance with that kind of stuff. So we know about keeping your shipping logs, totaling up your miles. When it comes to the car, they will tell you can do miles or maintenance. Always do miles. Always, always, always. Okay? You're going to get more money back on your miles. There's a lot of great apps that you can keep up with. If you did not keep up with your miles this time, go back through your date book and even your sales tickets and just say, if you got a smartphone, Siri, what is the miles difference between my address and then this address, and it tells you went back and forth, so double that. Okay, there's lots of ways to keep up with your miles right now, but if you didn't, you can go back and figure it out, and it's so worth it. It is. I think it's like don't quote me on this, I think it's like 54 cents to 57 cents a mile that you get back. So you definitely don't want to not do that because you didn't keep good records. Go back, use your date book as that because you wrote down all your appointments and figure it out. If you really want to get a great start on organization this new year, every time you book an appointment, go ahead and ask Siri for the distance in miles, write it down and highlight it with your highlighter in your date book, okay? And then when you're making deliveries, go ahead and do that. But y'all, seriously, there's some really great apps that are much, much better. I'm just not good at all my apps, figuring that out. So I always do things the hard way when it comes to stuff like that. All right, so now we've talked about weekly accomplishment sheets. And I said, don't run from this. Here's the thing. Here's a great way to keep up with all your personal use items and your demos. So what I want you to do is, those little black mesh bags that come, that we have a million of them. Go ahead and pull one out, keep one on your desk or on your shelf where your inventory is. And every time you have to pull a product off for a demo or for yourself, you just rip the top of the box that has the name of that product and shove it in there. And so you can keep, flat top boxes, a lot of them packed in there. And then at the end of the year, you just add it up. That's a deduction, okay? That is stuff that you're pulling off for yourself and you're pulling off for your class demos, and you get to write all that off. And so that's a really great way. I know that there's probably a lot of easy ways, but that's like the greatest way I've heard of. All right. We talked about how to keep up with your household deductions and your spreadsheets and stuff like that. All right, so here's the thing. We're going to send you an itemized, like a checklist of your deductions that you can use on Voxer. So look for that later tonight or in the morning. Don't hang up because I've just got something I really want to go over with you. Okay, I know it's 9:29. Know your number. All right. So when you finally get to your accountant, and she does all your stuff, I want you to ask her, and you get your refund based on your business. Okay. Now everybody's tax structure is different. Whether, some of you own homes, some of you rent, some of you have your husbands work for someone else, some of them don't. Some of you don't have a mortgage, you own your home. Everybody's different. But this can help anybody, okay? Taking advantage of your home-based business can help anybody's tax situation. So here's the thing. Ask your accountant what your refund would have been without your Mary Kay business versus with your Mary Kay business, okay? That difference in your refund, okay, if you do not have inventory, then this first year of your refund, that is what you need to use to buy your inventory, okay? Because you wouldn't have had that extra money if it hadn't been for your business. You need to go ahead, bite the bullet, be a businesswoman, be a businessman, whatever, and go ahead and get your inventory with that extra money. Here's why. You're going to eventually have a supply and demand problem. And if you are continually doing the 80-20, you're losing a lot of money because you can't get over that hump to get that full paycheck. And if you don't have product and you're taking a 50-50 paycheck, you don't have anything on your shelf. And come month 3, 4, or when your customers start reordering, you don't have an extra mascara to give them. You don't have their foundation. They will not wait, okay? If your husband is listening, ask him what his favorite sporting goods store is, or what his favorite, his favorite pastime. My husband loves to hike. If I sent him to REI to get all his hiking stuff, and he went there and there was nothing on the shelf, he would not order it. He would go find a place that had it. This is makeup, and women have makeup emergencies. This extra money in your refund this year, make it to where it doesn't belong to the family. It belongs to your business because your business got you this extra money. Go ahead and get serious about your business, okay? Now, if you've already got your inventory and you put it on a card, then you take that extra money and you pay it off. You get your business debt-free. That's what that money is for this year. 2 things. Either you're paying off your debt. It's not a debt if you got inventory. You're either paying off your business, okay, because you got inventory with it, or you're going to use that extra money and you're going to get your inventory. And you're going to be able to start giving yourself a 50% paycheck. Here's the thing. I know who has inventory and I know who doesn't. I know who sells what, and I see what you order. I know a lot of you are taking a 50% paycheck and you have no inventory. You're gonna be hurting when somebody orders a mascara and it costs you $9.35 to get that mascara to her. You have made no money. No money. That is not the right way to run a business. I hope you hear my heart, because I've made a lot of money in this business. I have supported my family, but I was a stickler for following the rules. I knew that I opened a business for $100. My husband knew that we opened a business for $100, and we sat down with our accountant. We figured out how to do our taxes right. We figured out how to run our money right. We figured out how to grow our inventory. It is a business, and it literally has paid me $1 million. I hope you see that I'm tearing up right now, because there's so many consultants out there that are just taking pocket change. If I tend to be a smother mother about your business, it's because I care so much, because I know the potential of this business. If people would just get their financial heads on straight and run this business the right way, you will never have to work for anybody else. You don't have to get out and work. You've got to go into work if it's snowing, or if your 5 babies have the flu. I didn't have to stress this month. Literally, it is the 21st. I have not held an appointment because we've all been sick, but I'm not stressed because I've done the work. I didn't have to call in. I was there for my babies. Y'all, I know that y'all hear me over and over, but it's so important. Work during the good times, and this business will take you through the bad times. I promise, I promise, I promise. And so ask your accountant when you sit down with them, what is my refund without this business? What is my refund with this business? And get your business right. Get your store right. Get your checkbook right. Run this business right. You know, if you want to make more money, then you work more, you sell more, you will make more. Okay. So I want your goal to be this year that you pay yourself the full paycheck because you have a full store. Now I want Marianne and Trinity, if they're still on, to share some of their tax things that I may have missed because I got really like on my soapbox. I'm so sorry, but I hope you guys hear my passion about this. Who wants to go first? And I know we're 5 minutes over, but this is an important topic. And this is being recorded, by the way.
Really quick, I was just going to add that there is a tax preparer for my Ohio people that lives close by in our town that was recommended to my other Mary Kay girlfriends. And they say they do a phenomenal job with all of our Mary Kay businesses. So I'll be sending that to you guys.
Thank you, Marianne. Was there anything that I mentioned or didn't mention that you wanted to?
I think you got it all.
Yay. Is Trinity on?
I think so. She came in and out.
Trinity, do you have anything? Okay, she may have muted out. She's on, but she may, oh, let me unmute her. Trinity.
Her sound's off.
Her sound might be off.
She said she can't hear
anything. She can't hear anything. Okay, so we're going to, Marianne, let's go ahead and give our prize away. How many numbers? And Hudson's going to pick a number.
Out of 19?
Yes, 1 out of 19. Pick a number. 13. Mary Kay's lucky number. Who's the winner?
All right, 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. Lindsay!
Yay, Lindsay! Yay! Congratulations. All right, who does Lindsay belong to?
She's mine.
Yay!
I just got the sound.
All right, Trinity, you get Lindsay her ticket, her prize, her ticket. All right, guys, is there any questions before I stop the recording that anybody wants to ask? Are you guys excited about tax time?
Yes. I did have one question.
Yes.
Okay, so like when you're adding up your receipts, this might be a silly question, but I'm just not sure. Do you add up the subtotals or the total receipt?
You add up your sales, not your taxes. You can't write off any of your taxes. Yeah, it's just your
subtotals.
That's
what I thought. So just the subtotals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because when you order product, Courtney, you've already paid the taxes, and so it's a wash.
No. I mean, like on my receipts for like postage, office supplies, meals, things like that.
Oh, I total up the entire total. And here's a red flag. Do not round it to the nearest zero. That is a red flag for IRS. They will flag you in a heartbeat. They know that there's no way that your dry cleaning ended up being $700 and your postage ended up being $1,600 even. Does that make sense? You give them the raw number to the penny. Good question. Okay. Anybody else? These questions are very helpful because I would have forgotten to say that about don't round to the nearest zero. All right, guys. Well, if you have any other questions, you're always welcome to Vox it on Voxer or private Vox us, and we can answer it for you. And I hope this was helpful for you. And y'all, let's have a great year, and let's be better record keepers and better money managers. Okay, you guys have a great night. Good night. Good night.
Night.
Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye.